Hello. It's 7 p.m. We will call this meeting to order of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of March 17th, 2025. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Our first item on the agenda is to elect officers for the Richfield Housing and Redevelopment Authority for 2025. We need to, do I hand it over to you? No, I can handle this. Yeah, okay. The officers for 2024 were Aaron Rees-Daniels as chair, Gordon Hanson as vice chair, and Sean Hayford O'Leary as secretary. Is there any nominations for chair for 2024? And I will start off by saying this is my last year before I term out. And so while I'd be happy to serve as chair, I think it'd be a great opportunity for somebody else to step up as well. So, are there any nominations for chair?
I believe others will have ample opportunity to step up in the future, so I nominate Aaron Rees-Daniels for chair.
And do we need a second or just nominations?
Let's second it for the heck of it.
Okay,
I believe in the past we have seconded,
Okay.
yes.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right, I will accept, but someone's gonna have to prep for next year. All right, all those in favor for Aaron Rees-Daniels as chair for 2025?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That has been approved.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You think after so many years I would be able to get this part down. Are there any nominations for vice chair?
I'll nominate Gordon Hanson.
I'll second.
It's been nominated and seconded. Is there any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations for vice chair? One last time. Any other nominations for vice chair? Seeing none. Gordon Hanson has been nominated as vice chair. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Gordon Hanson, congrats on vice chair.
Congratulations.
Moving us to secretary. Are there any nominations for 2025 for secretary?
I nominate Sean Hayford O'Leary.
Second.
It's been nominated and seconded, Sean Hayford O'Leary for secretary. Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Seeing none. All those in favor for Sean Hayford O'Leary as secretary, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Excellent. Okay. Thank you. Congratulations, everyone.
May I ask before we proceed, is the 3-time thing actually a rule in bylaws? Oh, really? I noticed you did it at the RBWMO meeting. Okay. Now I know.
Plenty of time for everyone. So. Okay, so that takes us to our open forum. There's no one in the room. Any writing in of anyone early? No?
Chair Rees-Daniels, we did not receive any comments.
Great. You can always refer to the HRA agenda and minutes webpage for additional ways to submit comments, should anyone watching like to do that. That takes us to approval of the minutes of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of February 18th, 2025. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, changes, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes have been approved. Taking us to item number 1, the 2024 Housing Redevelopment Authority and Economic Development Authority year in review. This always comes up so fast. I feel like we just did this. My
It
goodness.
felt like that to us as well. Chair Rees-Daniels, because it is easier to control the PowerPoint from the podium, we're going to present from that side of the room, even though it feels a little silly.
Yeah, dare I? You can also You can just, it won't pan as they go along, but you can.
Okay, can everybody hear me and access your PowerPoint up there? All set?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so we are pleased to present our 2024 year in review. Assistant Director Urban and I are going to split up the presentation tonight. And as a reminder, we do combine the HRA and EDA into a single presentation. And all of these slides will be on our website tomorrow. They are not there now. So this year, let me move ahead a little bit. This year, we have chosen to organize the presentation a little bit differently. We've structured it to highlight the connection between the vision and direction that the City Council sets forth and the work that is done and funded by the HRA and EDA. So to do that, we'll be talking about our work as it aligns with the council's core values. You'll see those on the slide here. These were adopted by the council in 2021. They include leading the way, being responsive, being responsible stewards, being community-centered, and being equitable. We'll talk about more as we go through the presentation and highlight our work. So we'll start with leading the way. The Lead the Way core value includes two objectives. The first is to continuously seek to improve the services that we provide through innovation and creativity. One of the ways we did this in 2024, and one of the ways we always do this, is to improve services through new programs. In late 2023, the EDA created the Small Business Sewer Access Charge, or SAC, Assistance Program. And in 2024, we awarded the first award of assistance to a new small business in downtown. Open Hair Space will be open soon in the ground floor of the Lynn View. We also seek to improve services by looking for efficiencies. Freeing up some internal capacity in 2024, we partnered with CEE, the Center for Energy and Environment, to administer our apartment remodeling loan program. CEE already administers our Fix-Up Fund and our Remodeling Advisor program, so this was an opportunity to build on that and again, free up some internal capacity. We awarded 2 apartment remodeling loans in 2024. We also improved services through forethought and careful planning. In 2024, we received our first LAHA, or Local Affordable Housing Aid, payments from the state and began spending those in accordance with the budget. And we began to plan for applying for the new Bring It Home Minnesota Rent Assistance Program and planning for the loss of our guaranteed allocation of federal CDBG funds. The shifting funding and business landscape are making it especially important right now that staff be nimble, that we be strategic, and that we be creative to make sure that we can continue to provide these services and provide new ones as we identify needs. The second component of Lead the Way is dedication to our staff, whereby we cultivate an environment of growth for staff and thereby allow them to innovate and be creative in terms of the services I just talked about. This year, we have done that by continuing to be a resource for others, particularly other cities attempting down payment assistance programs. We participated in a best practices webinar, and although Richfield has been a housing leader for many, many years, we find these opportunities especially valuable, not only because we're sharing our knowledge, but because of the questions that we get from other communities and dialoguing with other housing professionals. We have also heard a need from our staff over the past several years for support in training and expanding their skills. And this year, the HRA and EDA staff took part in over 250 hours of training. This was in a variety of areas depending on staff's needs. It included new and emerging trends in real estate, finance, program administration, economic development, creative placemaking, and more. One of the particularly important areas of training this year was for our Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher staff. In addition to a revised Section 8 administrative plan, which we had to provide to align with, it's called HOPMA, the Housing Opportunity Through Modernization Act. Staff spent over 150 hours in required federal trainings in order to begin that new inspection process this year. That included all of our Section 8 administrative staff as well as our inspectors who typically work on the city side. I'm going to turn it over to Julie for the next few slides.
Thank you. So I'll go on to the second value, which is being responsive. And responsiveness means just that we're listening and responding to feedback and assisting in projects that reflect the needs in our community. Both the strategic plan and our comprehensive plan both identify housing affordability as a priority. The Penn Station project was one project that came before you this year from JO Companies, and it specifically helps us to meet our need allocation for new affordable units in our community as determined by the Metropolitan Council. The project includes larger units for families, as well as housing for people with disabilities, another need identified in our community. Additional housing units in the area of Penn Avenue will also help to support and strengthen that commercial corridor, which is a step towards the goal of diversifying our tax base. And as you can see on the slide, that the HRA considered funding for the project, selling the properties, and then the project has also received multiple grants and very exciting received a tax credit award in 2024, and that'll be coming back before you in a couple of months. Another slide about being responsive. Next to the desire for affordable housing, when we are out in the community, the wants we hear identify most are local restaurants and a brewery. So this year, the HRA approved $750,000 to assist Loose Line Brewing in the construction of a food hall on the remaining vacant commercial lot at the former Lindale Gardens site. This work ticks a lot of boxes for us in terms of our strategic planning efforts. It will contribute to ongoing work to create a vibrant downtown and helps to diversify our tax base with additional commercial development. And finally, it's a great use of some of our pooled tax increment funds. It's helping to create both construction jobs and ongoing jobs in our community. In 2024, the EDA also received a $45,000 Business District Initiative grant from Hennepin County to develop a branding and placemaking strategy for downtown. That work will begin in the coming months. Another way we are responsive is how we continue to work to meet the needs of homeowners through our single-family housing programs. We are in the midst of our overall program evaluation and hope to bring that to you in the coming months. But in 2024, we took in feedback in a variety of ways and were able to respond to that by making changes to help enhance those programs and our work. One of the most interesting and fun ways we collected feedback was via a puff poll at PennFest. And we were able to make some quick changes to the application for our transformation loan program based on that feedback. This information will also help to inform our program evaluation project. We also issued 7 transformation loans in 2024, helping residents meet their remodeling goals. And after some rather slow-moving projects during the pandemic and shortly after, mostly due to supply chain issues, the projects have started to speed up, which helps us to use that money more efficiently. Also, sharing information and being active out in the community is a way that we are responsive. Folks want to know what the HRA and EDA do, and we communicate through participating in community events like the Farmers Market and PennFest, and we were also at Unity in the Community this year. And then finally, our very popular fall remodeled home tour. We just had 4 homes this year, but well over 300 attendees at the event. And then we can never forget to include some before and after photos. Transformation Loan Program provides an excellent example of those. You can see the before kitchen and the after kitchen here that was helped with our transformation loan. Stewardship is our next value, and that means that we are managing our resources, human, natural, financial, et cetera, in a responsible manner. The HRA and EDA continued to facilitate good stewardship of our housing stock through remodeling loans for both single-family homes and apartment communities, through our remodeling advisory programs, and by managing the HRA's loan portfolio. Richfield's housing stock is one of its most important assets, and the HRA and EDA continue to prioritize its maintenance and improvement. We were able to support the issuance of 6 remodeling or home maintenance loans through the Fix Up Fund and deferred loan programs. And then there were also actually 54 architectural and remodeling consultation recipients. That is a typographical error. I apologize for that. Perhaps less exciting, but no less important, we also cleaned up our loan program data in preparation for the housing program evaluation. Many of Richfield's housing programs have been around for multiple staff changeovers, and we have a homegrown database that we use for program administration. This large loan portfolio data is being reviewed and standardized in order to move forward with our comprehensive evaluation. We also practice stewardship through the EDA's commitment to financial assistance for energy efficiency upgrades. $5,300 in rebates were provided to businesses this year for lighting and other energy efficiency upgrades. Stewardship also means land stewardship. The HRA was able to purchase a neglected tax-forfeited property in Penn Avenue for assembly and ultimately construction of a new housing development. The HRA also accepted in 2024 a second donation of property formerly owned by the Mathwig family. This has created one contiguous larger redevelopment site along Interstate 494. The donation was a testament to the working relationship we had with that property owner and their belief that Richfield deserves the opportunity to do something great for the community with the site. It's also one of many examples where staff also works hard to be stewards of relationships with members of the community. And I'll pass it back to Melissa.
Okay, thank you. Moving back into our next value, that is community-centered. So community-centered as a core value means that Richfield celebrates and takes pride in its community and that we are resident-focused. Now, I know because I work with your HRA and EDA staff members every day that they are deeply passionate about their work. They care about the people in Richfield. But I want you and the broader community to know that as well. So each year, as a staff awards ceremony, we give out awards based on the core values that we're discussing today. In 2024, I gave out 3 awards to HRA staff for their community-centered work. The first 2 awards were for Celeste McDermott and Hillary Lovelace, our housing specialists, who injected a deeper level of humanity and care into our work by developing HRA and EDA loan forgiveness policies that allow for the administrative forgiveness of loans in cases of dire financial hardship. You'll recall that this eliminates the requirement for people to disclose those personal hardships in public meetings, something that was deeply uncomfortable for everyone who was involved. The third award that I presented was to Lynette Chambers, our multifamily housing program administrator. Lynette developed our award-winning Kids at Home program many years ago, and she's a significant driver of its continued success. She is regularly adapting this program, particularly the parent share group trainings and meetings, to meet the needs of our families in the program at the time. She is creative, she is dedicated, and she is generous. In 2024, our program was at its maximum capacity, and our families have continued to impress us. This past year, 2 program graduates surprised us when they asked to return to the Parent Share program to share the wisdom they had gained with current participants. They shared what they did that led to success and what they wish they hadn't done. So I really wanted to highlight that. I think it's evident in work that we do, but maybe not to the broader community. The HRA also continued to support utility upgrades at the Woodlawn Terrace Cooperative in 2024, and those are nearly complete. Moving on to our final core value, equitable. Equitable as a core value means that the City of Richfield is dedicated to building a diverse, inclusive, and thriving hometown. First, I'll focus on our partnership with Hennepin County's Elevate Hennepin program. In 2024, Elevate Hennepin provided 588 hours of assistance to 41 Richfield businesses. In the last 2 years, 72% of those entrepreneurs were people of color. I also want to highlight our first-time homebuyer program. 2024 was a banner year for this program. We closed on 16 loans. We continue to serve higher than industry average of people with marginalized identities. Nearly 85% of total households served since 2019 are households of color. We served our first Native American household this past year. And a contributing factor to this was the statewide first-generation housing programs. Those brought more Twin Cities realtors and lenders into this world of home purchase assistance, despite the challenging interest rates. And then finally, our favorite slide, a summation of all that I've just told you, Julie and I have just told you, but in numbers that really bring it home. In 2024, noting Julie's typo from the earlier slide, the HRA and EDA helped over 600 households and businesses in the community. So I'm not going to read through all of these. They're in your slide to refer to, but that's really exciting. That's a lot of people that in partnership, you as the HRA and EDA board and staff, that's a lot that we've done. And then that's, like I said, a result of the hard work of you and the hard work of these folks on the last slide, your HRA and EDA staff. And that's it. We're happy to stand for any questions if you have them.
Yeah, I'll open up. Anybody have questions, comments? Yes, go ahead.
I don't have any questions, but I always love this report because it just highlights all the great work that everybody's doing. And I really appreciate everything that you all have been doing and that the city has been working through the HRA and the EDA to do. I happened to drive through Woodlawn Terrace today, and it was so exciting to see all the utility work look like it was mostly done and a lot of new units, and so that was just fun to see that come to fruition. So thank you for everything that you do.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I have a question. The velodrome project we heard about in past years, is that still percolating in the background, or is that kind of gone by the wayside?
Thank you. That's a great question, Commissioner Hansen. You know, the Minnesota Cycling Association would love for that project to move forward. However, they do not have the funding for that. The HRA and EDA don't have any sort of exclusive agreement with them to hold the property. Although if they did come back to us and want to talk about that project further, we'd certainly be open to it.
I just want to say well done. It's a long list of great achievements, and I'm really proud of what Richfield has done, and thank you for your hard work.
I also thank you and everyone and the staff, and I think this is our favorite presentation every year, and it does feel like it comes up quick. So I'm like, oh, it's like the most memorable thing when we kind of pull this all together and step back and reflect on all the awesome work that the staff does for the community, and your passion for the staff and everything that happens is just so visible. And so kudos to everyone, because the numbers really speak for themselves. And I think Richfield's a great place to live, and you guys are a huge part of that. Thanks. Quiet clap in the mic. All right, we'll move on to approval of the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns, or changes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The agenda has been approved. Item number 3, the consent calendar. Executive Director Palin.
Thank you, Chair Vries-Daniels. Let me move ahead here.
Did you pull your thing back up?
Yeah. The consent calendar, in this case, contains one item, which is acted upon by the HRA in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and recommended actions have also been approved. No further HRA action on these items is necessary. However, any HRA commissioner may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and placed on the regular agenda for HRA discussion and action. All items listed on the consent calendar are recommended for approval. The single item on your consent calendar tonight, item A, consider resolutions designating official depositories for the HRA for 2025, including the approval of collateral. And I submit this for your consideration.
Is there a motion to approve, or anyone would like to remove anything from the consent calendar?
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The consent calendar has been approved. Taking us to item number 5. Executive Director Palin.
Thank you. A review of the HRA bylaws revealed that procedures related to attendance at a special meeting were ambiguous and could be interpreted to read that all members of the HRA must be present to conduct business. In consultation with the HRA attorney, an amendment removing this ambiguous language has been proposed. Additionally, the amendment allows the executive director to call a special meeting and aligns the notification period with the statutory requirement to post special meetings at least 3 days in advance. I'm happy to stand for any questions.
I have a question about the, not about that portion, but section 6. You know, we always kind of joke that the approval of the agenda comes halfway through the meeting. I was watching the Planning Commission meeting a couple weeks ago, and as they were going through theirs, is it true that we're in this order because of the system that you guys use to generate the agendas?
This might be a question for the city clerk. I will answer to the best of my ability, but Michelle may jump in here. Right now, we are evaluating the order of agendas and putting it into a new system. So part of what we're doing is just making sure that all of the commissions and boards are aligned. That process happened, I believe it was about 5 years ago. So the reason you're in this order is because the council was in the order at that time. It's a consistency issue.
If there is opportunity to change it, I would love for that to move up.
Yeah,
You know,
Chair,
honestly.
if I could say, and this is something I've complained about as a council member a number of times too, it makes no sense for approval of the agenda to be like midway through the meeting. Like, because what if a presentation were added or deleted? Like, we have no power over that. I will share this with Katie as well as the city manager, but I would strongly like approval of the agenda to move to the top of the agenda. That said,
Noted.
I have no issue with staff's actual change we're discussing right now.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Is there a motion or are there any other questions? Anyone like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the, wait.
The
it's not
resolution.
consent, the resolution, so hold on a second, I gotta get back to it. I scrolled down to look at the bylaws. I'll move to adopt a resolution amending the bylaws of the Richfield Housing and Redevelopment Authority.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution has been approved. Taking us to item number 6, HRA discussion items. Are there any HRA discussion items?
I have one.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to alert anybody that's watching to watch your mail. You should be getting your Hennepin County evaluation notices. And so if you have any questions about your assessment, you can call the county assessor. And the phone number is 612-348-3046, 612-348-3046. But watch for that information, and it has a whole thing of what to do if you want to appeal it and how to go through the process. So it arrived at my house today, so it probably will be getting throughout the city in the next day or two.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? All right. Item number 7, Executive Director Hillman.
Thank you. I have a couple of announcements today. First, wanted to make the HRA aware that we are in the process of applying for the State Trust Fund match. They will match up to $225,000, so we are applying for that money. And also the Bring It Home Minnesota program, which I referenced in the presentation. We're working on that application, and we're also working to partner potentially with Hennepin County and the school district with formation of our program, our Bring It Home program, and that's the rent assistance. So working on some partnerships to do the most we can with the funding that we get. And then finally, I will mention that there was an open house last week related to the Loose Line Food Hall proposal. It was very well attended. Several of you were there. Probably, I would guess 50 to 60 people based on sign-ins. The general feeling, I think, was very positive. There were some concerns related to the potential frequency of performances, how late they might last into the evening, some landscaping related to headlights in the neighboring residential units, and some parking concerns. The same kinds of concerns that we hear regularly with redevelopment projects. So hopeful that that will keep moving forward, that the developer will take that feedback and work with the community on those things. We expect a land use application to come in the near future, perhaps for the April Planning Commission meeting. That is the next step, is the Planning Commission. And that's all for my report.
Do you have any update on or could tell us a bit more about the Strongest Town competition? I know we did not move forward in the last round, right?
Perhaps Commissioner Hayford O'Leary has an update on that? I do not.
Yes, unfortunately, we did not. We did not. I was assured by someone at Strong Towns that Marion, Ohio, our competitor in the last round, did an exceptional job at getting the word out. They had like editorials in the local paper about the importance of voting in the Strong Towns competition, so we shouldn't take it personally. So yeah, we are out of the race. You should still vote because it is still a cool competition that we got to be a part of. We will still be on the Strong Towns podcast coming up. We got like a 10-minute segment to talk about what's cool about Richfield, what makes us a strong town. And I also have a recap of our application materials, although much of it is already on the Strongest Town website, but that'll be on streets.man in the next week or two.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
All right. If there's nothing else, we have, brings us to item number 8, claims. Is there a motion to approve claims?
I make a motion to approve claims.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claims have been approved, and that takes us to adjournment. Thank you, everyone. We'll roll right over to the EDA. Ready? All right, we will call to order the March 17th, 2025 Economic Development Authority meeting of the City of Richfield. Our first item is to consider the election of officers for the Richfield Economic Development Authority for 2025. Officers for 2024 were Aaron Vries-Daniels as president, Gordon Hanson vice president, Sean Hayford O'Leary treasurer, Dustin and Leslie vacant/secretary, although not required to be an EDA commissioner, and then Kamoon Verma, the assistant treasurer, also not required. So are we voting on all 5 as EDA?
Yes, you are voting on all 5. I can give recommendations for the secretary and assistant treasurer positions when you get to those.
Perfect, thank you. Are there nominations for president?
I'll nominate Aaron Vries-Daniels.
Second.
Are there any other nominations for president? Any other nominations for president? Any other nominations for president? All right. Seeing none, it has been nominated Aaron Vries-Daniels for president for 2025 of the EDA. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Is there a nomination for vice president?
I nominate Gordon Hanson for vice president.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded. Gordon Hanson for vice president. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of Gordon Hanson for vice president for 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is there a nomination for treasurer?
I nominate Sean Hayford O'Leary as treasurer.
Will second.
It has been, Sean Hayford Leary has been nominated and seconded for treasurer. Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor for Sean Hayford O'Leary to be treasurer for the EDA of 2025, say aye.
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 Opposed? Congrats. Motion passes. Is there a nomination for secretary or recommendation?
Yes, President Vries-Daniels, I would recommend that you appoint Michelle Friedrich, city clerk, as the secretary for this year.
Thank you. Is there a official nomination?
I'll nominate Michelle Friedrich.
Is there a second?
Second that?
Is there any other nominations or recommendations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Seeing none. All those in favor of Michelle Friedrich of being secretary, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations and thank you. Is there a recommendation for assistant treasurer?
Yes, President Freese Daniels, I would recommend that you appoint Mary Bogie, who is the fractional CFO or acting finance director.
Thank you. Is there a nomination?
I'll nominate Mary Bogie.
Second.
It has been nominated and seconded. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Please thank her for her service as well. Okay, I believe that wraps up that item. Takes us to open forum. There is no one in the room. Always, you can refer to the EDR agenda and minutes for additional ways to submit comments. That takes us to approval of the minutes of the regular Economic Development Authority meeting of February 18th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, corrections, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes have been approved. Taking us to approval of the agenda.
I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any changes, comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda has been approved. Item number 2, the consent calendar. Executive Director Palman?
Thank you, President Freese Daniels. The consent calendar contains items which are acted upon by the EDA in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and recommended actions have also been approved. No further EDA action is necessary on these items. However, any EDA commissioner may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and placed on the regular agenda for EDA discussion and action. Tonight, the single item on your consent calendar is consider resolutions designating official depositories for the Economic Development Authority for 2025, including the approval of collateral. And I submit this for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there a motion or would anyone like anything removed from the consent calendar?
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent calendar has been approved. Item number 4, Executive Director Palman.
Thank you. The proposed change to the EDA bylaws is exactly the same as the proposed change that you just considered to the HRA bylaws. For anyone who was not listening, though, a review of the EDA bylaws revealed that procedures related to attendance at a special meeting were ambiguous and could be interpreted to read that all members of the EDA must be present to conduct business. In consultation with the EDA attorney, an amendment removing the ambiguous language has been proposed. Additionally, the amendment allows the executive director to call a special meeting and aligns the notification period with the statutory requirement to post special meetings at least 3 days in advance. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or is there a motion?
I'll move to adopt a resolution amending the bylaws of the Richfield Economic Development Authority.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution has been passed. Taking us to item number 5, the EDA discussion items. Is there any EDA discussion items? Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say again, it was really great to see the small business assistance part of the presentation and the fact that we're actually going to do a SAC loan and some of those type of things. So thank you for that.
Anybody else? All right, taking us to item number 6, Executive Director's Report.
Thank you. That leads well into my report, which is just a forecast for you that there will likely be a study session in April, anticipating a 6 o'clock start time, and that's to discuss a new small business assistance program that we've been developing. So we will confirm that date as the end of April approaches, but just to get that on your calendar now. And that's the only item I had.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7, claims. Is there a motion to approve claims?
I make a motion to approve claims.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Claims has been approved. Takes us to adjournment. Thank you, everyone.